Welcome back to another video, folks. It's a beautiful fall morning at Wild East, and we're moving all the different animals around the farm today and over the next couple days, and I wanted to document our simple systems for moving the animals around the farm. Before we get into the video today, please make sure to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. All right, moving the pigs this morning. They are food motivated since I haven't given them breakfast, but you can see they've been in here about 3 weeks and disturbed it about to where we want before letting them move on. And they're coming into here. We've got all the invasive species culprits, and this will be the first time we've had pigs on this paddock, so it'll be exciting to see how they work through it and change the composition as we continue to run pigs through the woods. I'm gonna run the line on this next paddock, and then the idea is I'll just open the gate up and they'll walk right through to their breakfast. This is one of the main things I love about having different enterprises on the farm is my workload is so diverse. I spend one morning in the market garden. I spend the next morning out here in the woods observing the different plant species and the impact of the pigs and planning out the forestry plans for the future of the farm and how we want to see these things shift in the landscape. And it keeps my job and my day-to-day so interesting and diverse that it's just a joy to be working on the farm in this capacity. We've got the gates battened shut with a piece of wood because pigs are quite strong, and if this had any wiggle or give, it would become a toy for them that they could potentially quickly destroy. So take the drill, and that's how we'll open the gate up. Whenever you buy a Premier One electric fence, they send a little digital tester with you. It's got this probe that sticks into the ground, and then you take the tip here and stick it on the fence. And this is an okay reading. Might see if it's touching in any spots, but as long as it's above 4.5 for the pigs and they're already trained up, that's going to be hot enough to encourage them to not test it. But feeling good. Got the pigs over to the new paddock and they're settling in. Hey sheep. Bit of frost on the ground this morning. We haven't invested in any more permanent fencing for the sheep. We've been having really good success with the portable sheep net, and when we're ready to move them from paddock to paddock, we'll just set up the next fence adjacent to this one and just pull open the door, and they're so ready to get onto fresh grass they just run right through. It's no problem either to move them across the farm with a bucket of alfalfa pellet treats. They'll follow right along and walk pretty much any distance across the farm we need them to, which is important to have, at least a decent sized group of animals. 1 or 2 sheep don't form that kind of herd mentality that forces them to move as a group. But with this many sheep, we are seeing success moving them around the farm with no problem. So here's a paddock the sheep were in that they were moved from just a few days ago, and they've got about one more day here in this paddock before moving into here. And you can really see the difference in the grass. The leaf blades are about up to my hips where they haven't been versus where they've been. And we think with this small number of animals this year, we'll be able to have enough grass across the farm that we'll have stockpiled forage sufficient to not need any hay between now and late March, when the grass growth starts ramping up again. On to new grass. Happy sheep. I noticed they go first for the plantain when they find it, and it's been interesting to see with this fescue, there's an endophytic fungus that life cycle is strongest in the summer, makes it less palatable to ruminants. And as the days have cooled off, the sheep are just eating more and more of the fescue than they were before. Time to move turkeys and get the gobble to go moved, ideally with 2 people, but 1 person can do it. And they're hungry, which, like all the critters, helps get them moved along. You can see the paddock where they've been for a few days, they graze heavily, and there's a lot of trampling, which is great. They're pushing seed heads into the ground, and they're, creating this mat of organic matter across the pasture. And we're moving them into here. So far, we've been really happy with what the recovery looks like where they've already been. So, time for turkeys. We've got it set up. Old paddock, new paddock. We'll just slide the gate open and they'll walk right through to breakfast. We've got their water on a float valve, so they have constant access to clean water. Here they go. This poultry netting can be really tangle prone if you're not careful with how you put it away. So I found a good protocol for us in how we put it away. It's quite heavy because we have a long roll of it and there's so much woven material that it gets heavy by the end of it. But I like to slide up to my elbow on this first one, somewhere in the middle. And then as I'm pulling them up, just stacking the posts in my little elbow crease. So by the end, all of the posts are on one side and the rope is dangling nice on the other side. It makes it just as easy to take back apart when you're setting up the next paddock. So it should look like this once you've taken it up, and we just stage them out in the field here for being ready for next time. But if you're gonna roll it up, it's somewhat counterintuitive. A lot of times folks will start out by rolling the posts into the wire, but that gets the little ground stakes all tangled up in the net and it can be a total mess. So you actually want to take this end and roll it up tightly towards the posts, and with that method we've had no issues with tangling. Moving the chicken tractors, this is a daily chore in the morning, and I've pointed this out in previous videos, but we've just got this simple homemade axle with 2 little hooks on the end and a little handle to just lift to get the wheels on and off, and that lops it enough to very easily move it across the grass. So they're getting ready to move here. In addition to having the sheep graze ahead of them, we pull the tractors as close to the tree lanes as possible on the edges. So we have a mulberry here, and you can see the tractors just coming right along that edge, and that keeps it nice and mowed and fertilized and clean, tidy edge on the ends of these tree lanes.